Hey guys, welcome back. Today is watering day for me and I'm gonna go over the do's and don'ts of watering your plants. Now, I am not an expert. That's my disclaimer. This is just what worked for me and I'm gonna stick with it because my fiddle leaf fig back there is doing pretty good. She's pushed off 6 leaves, so I think I'm doing something right. In any case, let's get started. Now, we are in full swing of growing season, and I think with that said, you should give your plants a little bit of extra love. Now, I've been treating my plants to a little bit of a little bit of HB101 Plant Vitalizer. Hopefully that focuses and you can see that. But yeah, this is made in Japan. It has natural nutrients in here, and it was introduced to me by a friend actually, and she was telling me how the excess water that she had when she was watering her plants, she actually put her imports in it, and 3 days later she got roots, and I was like, I need some of that, let me try it out. So I took a cutting. I took a cutting of my philodendron Milano, and I don't think you can see, I'm probably gonna have to pull it out, but it's doing amazing. Let's take this out. Do you see that? Do you see that fuzzy root right there? A week and a half, like, that's insane. For me, that's insane. So I think in a month it's gonna be fully rooted and be transferred over to my choice of medium. It's also unfurling right now. So yeah, I'm excited, and it's definitely a 10 out of 10 for me. Now, the do's and don'ts of watering your plant. The biggest one, don't have a set schedule. The reason for that is because depending on where your plant resides, it's going to be different. For example, down here, it's a little bit cooler than it is upstairs, or in my IKEA cabinet, which is regulated. So upstairs and in my IKEA cabinet, it is much warmer, it's more humid, so it's going to need more water. Down here, because it's cooler, it doesn't need quite as much water. So I do find myself having to water upstairs probably every 6 to 7 days, and down here I have to water it probably every 8 to 9 days. Give or take, depending on the plant. So if I find that the plant is a fast grower, it's going to need more water. If it's a slow grower, probably not as much, because it doesn't need the nutrients and the water to push off that new leaf and unfurl. Now, how do you know if your plant needs to be watered? A couple of ways. The good old-fashioned, stick your finger in the dirt and see if it's dry. If it's dry, give it some water. If it's not dry, you're good. Another way is to just take a look at it. So for example, this guy over here is Sad Rhaphidophorus tetrasperma. It's curling, it's flimsy, it doesn't feel plump or meaty. It needs some water and some extra love. So I'm sorry, you're gonna get some water today. And like I said, if it's kind of plump and meaty, then you're good to go. You probably don't need to water it too much. What else? I also try to bottom feed whenever I can. So for example, this guy over here, my little bear paws. So how I like to water this guy is take the saucer, put it underneath, fill it up to the top, and walk away. The plant is going to absorb all the water that it needs, and if it's dry, I'm gonna top it off one more time just to see if it's received enough water. If it sucks it up again, I'm gonna top it off one more time. If it doesn't, then I'm gonna dump out the excess and we're good for the day. But otherwise, I do try to water this as often as I can, just because I want the pods to be like chunky and plump. So depending on the type of medium your plant is in, it may require more water. For example, this guy right here, my silver blush, is currently in some moss. I don't know if it's gonna focus or not. There we go. So this is an Ethereum silver blush. It is in moss and in this orchid container that has like these slits on the side for air circulation. And I think because of the slits, it actually requires more misting. I don't water these guys. I kind of mist them and make sure that they're moist. Even though I mist it, the top is always dry. So I'll just kind of like grab the saran wrap and just do that. And this also helps to increase the humidity to help it root and keep it from drying out too much. So this actually resides in my exo tank. My exo tank is typically 80 to 90% humidity, but even then I still find that it dries out. So this is how I've been keeping it moist, and the plant seems to be thriving. I haven't checked the roots just yet, but if the roots are good, I'll probably have to pot it up in a different medium, maybe some DIY ponds or something. And what else? Oh, what if your plant doesn't have drainage holes? Like this guy over here. Okay, so this guy is in this little tiramisu situation. We have perlite, leca, and soil, and moss on top. So I do not water this unless it's bone dry. So when I look down here, the perlite should have no moisture. If it has some moisture, I will not water it. But if it's bone dry, I will go ahead and water it. So I think that's about it. The takeaway message from today is don't have a set schedule. Every plant is different. Bottom feed if you can. Actually, bottom feeding is a great way of preventing fungus gnats too. So if you have issues with fungus gnats, you can try bottom feeding, and that will prevent the fungus gnats from laying their eggs on top. One way of preventing the fungus gnats, if you already have them, is you can actually use mosquito dunks and put it in water and use that water to water your plants. Or the other method is to spray the top layer of soil with diluted hydrogen peroxide. I personally don't mind too much about the fungus gnats, just because they don't really bother me, and I typically underwater my plants anyways. So it's growing season. Give your plants some love and I'll reward you with some big beautiful leaves. And thanks for watching, guys. Bye.